with everything. Welcome, everybody. We are glad that you are all here. Lots of love to you all. For those of you that are live, Colleen and I are teaching Reiki 1 and 2 tomorrow and Thursday. There's a few spots left. It's a relatively small class, so if you've been thinking about doing it and you would like a small class, definitely come and join us there. And then Colleen is teaching Reiki Master Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right, Colleen?
Yes.
Yeah. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then after that, I don't think we're really teaching again until, do you have classes in June?
Well, we have next step classes.
Well, yeah.
But the other one I have this Saturday for any of you interested in the scientific research about Reiki. The Center for Reiki Research is having their conferences Saturday, Sunday. You can go to centerforreikiresearch.com. Maybe it's .org. And check that out. I'm sure they'll be doing a recording. I'm actually doing the opening invocation for it before the masterclass that day, but I'm doing the opening invocation for it. And then the end of June, I'll be presenting Animal Reiki at the Omega Institute in Rhinebeck, New York. So yeah, other than that, it's a kids out of school month.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Oh, welcome, awesome. Frankie.
Well, just to let everybody know, most of you are regulars, but we have new faces. For those of you that listen on YouTube later, you're always welcome to join us live on Tuesdays. We keep it pretty casual. We do a Reiki talk, a Reiki meditation. Then if you're able or would like to stay, we go into breakout rooms where we give and receive Reiki with each other. You're always welcome to come late, leave early. And if you miss one of them, again, we post it to YouTube and our podcast platforms, which is we're on all of them, anywhere that you listen to your podcasts. All right. Well, I think that's it for announcements. So what we are kind of finishing up our talk about today is social media. And we have been doing business topics all month. And so if you've missed any of those, we've talked about so many different things. Go and check them out on our YouTube. And, you know, the other thing that we didn't quite get to, we didn't talk about is some of the more technical aspects of owning a Reiki business, which Colleen and I talked about. And, you know, neither of us are experts in those areas. And so we didn't want to have any sort of, you know, misguided information, but other things that you will have to think about because it is a small business, taxes, legal filing, you know, as far as like if your state requires an LLC, some of those kinds of things that are all a part of this process with owning a small business. And so those are just some of the other things to kind of think about with all of this. But we thought one of the places that, you know, we can be effective in talking about in our more of our scope of practice is a better way to say that is more around social media. And so it does kind of follow up from last week with AI and talking about that and how you can have AI help you with your social media piece of this. So the first thing that I want to talk about with it is first finding what social media platform that you are interested in. So some of you may not be interested in social media. If having a Reiki business in this day and age it's pretty hard to not have social media to help promote your business. There are definitely cases where you may not have to do that, such as you're working out of an already established brick and mortar. Let's say you go into a massage office or you go into a chiropractic office and you're working out of an already established business and they're referring clients to you. If you are trying to create a a clientele and market your Reiki business, then social media is going to be an aspect of that. So with that, it is one of those things that I know that many of us can have a complex relationship with social media. I am one of those people that has a complex social media or relationship with social media. That comes from my own usage of social media, as well as my own promotion on social media. So there's different aspects of it. Colleen and I have been talking recently about our TikTok and how our algorithm just got all wonky. And it's gone into this really negative space. And we're like, we need to change our algorithm here. And so we've been watching videos of like puppies and kittens and things that aren't quite so negative. That is one of the things that you will see with social media. One of the things that I really used to dislike it. And then once I got into the Reiki space, I really noticed it start to change because my friends became Reiki practitioners who generally post positive things, helpful things, ways that I can use Reiki in the world, ways that I can use Reiki for myself, ways that I can contribute with Reiki energy. And so it really shifted what my social media looked like. And as a Reiki practitioner, that is another part of what we can help do in the space. One of the ways that we can help, one of the ways that we can contribute is by putting Reiki into these social media spaces, positive messages, things that can help people on a day-to-day basis, even if they're small, even if it helps with one person and changing the course of their day. Those small things matter. And so that's another part of why social media is important. Yes, it's important for marketing, but it's also important in our own authenticity. It's also important in our voice. It's important for those aspects. And it was a shift in the way that I thought about it, the way that I looked at it, and also an outlet for your voice. And that also brings me to another complicated aspect that many of us have with social media is that, most of us don't go into Reiki to become, an influencer or something like that. And I'm not saying if you do that's bad or anything, but we can have a hard time putting ourselves out there on social media. That is a place that a lot of practitioners, a lot of business owners, a lot of people can struggle with. And there's a shyness aspect to that. There's an imposter syndrome aspect to that. There's so many different aspects that can be a really layered conversation. And that is actually where Reiki can help us. And sometimes that takes time. Sometimes that can be a level of work that we continue with and a path that we continue with of just continually asking Reiki to support us and allowing ourselves to become more visible, allowing ourselves to be comfortable posting on social media. That can be throat chakra work, just as an example, that inner voice, that inner truth, and allowing that to be spoken onto your social media page. We've talked a lot about our authentic voice through all of this whole month, and social media isn't any different. And the thing about it is that we can go round and round and round with ourselves about what is our authentic voice around it. But it's okay that your social media develops. It's also okay that your voice changes, that your voice grows, that it goes from one post that might be a little shaky as far as like how you feel about it and what you did, and maybe even your graphics or anything like that, to you get better at it over time. You get more comfortable with it over time. And so sometimes the answer is just to step into that courage, step into your own power and your own courageousness, and make that first post. And that first post is always the hardest. After that, everything else gets a little easier. Then there are the other aspects of social media, such as having time to do it. As business owners, there are so many other things. You have to keep income coming in. You have to have clients. You have to answer emails. You have to have all of these other aspects to our work that social media can, the time can be challenging for us to create time in our schedules, for us to create time to have to do it. And so it is something that gets pushed down on the priority list. And all of this is really normal. All of it's understandable. One of the things that you can do for that is start scheduling time for it. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. Start scheduling, time in your calendar. And sometimes you can't do that the next day. Sometimes you have to schedule your time a month out. It's like, okay, well, here's where my calendar finally lets up a little bit. So what's today, the 28th? I have to start this scheduling in the 16th of next month, right? I don't have any time until then. But after the 16th, okay, I can do this weekly. I'm going to block out a couple hours to make some posts for social media. Then I'm going to start that every Wednesday afternoon or whatever moving forward, where I'm going to just block out time just for social media. And it's okay that you don't get started before then. It's okay that you have to kind of schedule that in ahead of time. But scheduling in time to do your social media in your calendar. Social media is work. It is a part of your business. It's a part of work. And so many people look at it as an extracurricular thing to it, or I'm just on social media, I'm not actually working. Well, yeah, sometimes our doom scrolling is the extracurricular activities, but I'm talking about posting. I'm talking about interacting with pages. I'm talking about making videos. I'm talking about commenting on other people's posts, because all of those are ways that you can help your own social media, help your own engagement, and grow your accounts, because there's always going to be a percentage of people from your accounts that are going to hear your voice, be attracted to your voice, and then, okay, I liked this. Maybe I'm going to sign up for a session. Maybe I'm going to sign up for a class. You grow your audience, then you're able to market to that audience that you have an upcoming class with Reiki classes or whatever you might be doing with that. And so, that is the other thing, to kind of flip that idea in your head about what social media is. If you have a Reiki business, or if you don't, if you just like posting, that's great too. So, but since we're talking about it in that context, that social media is work. It's a part of the business. And also that other people may not see it that way too, but that's why it's helpful to schedule it out in your work days, to be able to go ahead and create posts and bank posts and schedule posts. And I'll go through a little bit about that as well. So that's another place to kind of shift that dynamic for yourself and for your Reiki business. And all of this can be helped, can be supported with Reiki energy and self Reiki, but also sessions from others. I'm having a hard time with posting to social media because of A, B, and C. Ask for support from Reiki for that. It really does help. It really does make a difference. And so, it can be a huge difference over time, even if it's not that you see the difference that next day. Over time, eventually it's going to make a difference. So the other thing with social media is that, well, first of all, you can always hire somebody. Not all of us have that in our budget for hiring somebody to do our social media at first. A good social media manager or a good social media person is going to help collaborate your voice, your material, and do the actual posting for you. So sometimes they might say, here's some ideas that are really good, but in general, with hiring somebody to do it, it is a person that is going to be good at that, is going to be somebody who also communicates your voice. They're asking you for maybe some material. They're asking you for your voice on things. So it's not just coming from them necessarily. So that's another place that you can find people on Fiverr. Let's say it's just really holding you back and you have it within your budget to do it. then you can always hire somebody to do it. And that's usually the title is usually a social media manager for that. So that's another thing that you can do with it. And then, the good thing about that is if you ever want to, then you can post also. So it's like, okay, I have this person who's consistently posting, which is really helpful because it takes a lot of pressure off. And so then what I will do in addition to this is post when I want to post what I feel like posting. It gives you a little bit more freedom in that aspect too. So there's that aspect to it. Now, the other thing with social media is, frankly, when it comes to it, there's so many different platform options, right? And in reality, we can't do them all. So there is YouTube, there's Facebook and Instagram, there's TikTok, there's X, formerly known as Twitter, and the list goes on and on and on as far as all of our options for social media. LinkedIn, that's another really big one. So one of the things about social media is it is pretty hard, especially at first, to be able to do all of them, especially when you have very different formats for each of them. So maybe if you prefer to be on TikTok, you can also cross post over to YouTube because they're both video oriented platforms. Facebook and Instagram are going to be similar types posts. Or let's say, you want to make longer form videos for YouTube. Maybe you can cut them up and put them onto TikTok. But one of the things at first, especially, is to just take the pressure off of yourself with, take the pressure off of yourself of being able to post to all of them at first. So posting to, what we do is choose the ones that we like the best, right? Which one am I on the most? Which one do I have the most connection to? Which one do I understand the most, the audience? Which one do I feel the most inspired by? Because social media can also be very inspirational, can be somewhere that you can go forward with all of your ideas, all of the things. And so, or if you find yourself on YouTube most, X the most, or, LinkedIn the most, start with the ones that you feel the most inspired by, the most that you like to be on, the most that you understand the platform and the demographic, and then go from there as far as posting to it. Then we talked a lot about, a couple weeks ago, we talked about a lot about creating things in Canva, creating things in different platforms. You can just record. If you want to do video, just record it all on your phone. It doesn't have to be fancy cameras. The one really good thing that TikTok, and I will say even Gen Z and younger millennials have made everything so much more casual that we can just grab our phone, not all done up, and we can just be our authentic selves. They have messy houses in the backgrounds, it's very, very authentic and very casual. And that is really helpful for social media because that takes pressure off of it. Now, with that, some of us are going to feel more comfortable if we have makeup on. Some of us are going to feel more comfortable if we have like a nice background or whatever. And that's okay too. That's authentic to yourself. And we get to each be our own person. But it is nice that it takes the pressure off, because what people are craving for now on social media is that authenticity, like the poised, the setup. The word recalls I'm having a hard time with social media. That is actually shifting now, and people are craving the authenticity of people rather than this preformed, prefabbed idea of what your life should look like, right? That quote of, "I wish my life was as perfect as you pretend it to be on social media." So some of those vulnerable places, some of those vulnerable aspects to ourselves, people connect to that. So you can post about those things. So these are all kind of the philosophy behind social media with it all. So that is another thing about it. So, start with where you are most inspired. And then if you're going to do that, we can kind of go through some of the more practical aspects of this. So one of the things we're going to go with Facebook and Instagram. Facebook and Instagram are an easy place to start because you don't have to do video. You don't have to, they're connected to each other. So that's helpful because you can post to one and it posts across to the other. They're connected to each other. So, TikTok and YouTube are a whole nother beast. I'm just going to start with Instagram and Facebook because obviously with social media, it's a huge subject. It's a science. Honestly, it is a science that there are companies that this is all that they do with engagement and all of it. And so that's the other thing to know about it. Like we cannot cover even a fraction of what is possible in social media. This is more from the aspect of like getting started and knowing to be inspired by that. You can be inspired by social media as well. So one of the big things to do is, like I said, scheduling out time, and then you can schedule posts. So a lot of you probably already know all of this. I'm going to go ahead and screen share. When we're talking about Instagram and when we're talking about here, let me pull this out actually. Pull this out. When we're talking about social media or Instagram and Facebook, Facebook owns Instagram, as we know. And what it's called now is Meta. And so you can go through the Meta business suite. It's business.facebook.com. You have to have a business page. So it can't just be from your personal page, I don't think. You have to have a business page to have all the functions that Meta has available. But the good thing is you can create a Facebook and you can create an Instagram and you can connect the two so that you can post just one place and you can, and it will cross post to both platforms. You can do this with Reels. And what Reels is just, they're just TikToks. It's just Instagram's name for Reels or Instagram's name for TikToks are called Reels, right? So you can post like images, graphics, or you can post video to Instagram and Facebook, and you can do it all from one place. So this is the Meta business suite. This is what I'm talking about with banking posts. Now, what you can do if it feels overwhelming to post every day, which it absolutely can be, what you can do is just start posting once or twice a week. That's all you have to do. Just start posting once or twice a week. And you can do that a month out. So you can go into Canva. So you can ask AI, give me, let's see, if it's a month and you're posting twice a week, give me 10 ideas on what to post to social media. So it gives you 10 ideas, right? Maybe you have to change a few of those, but that's okay. But it's 10 ideas. Then you go into Canva and you create graphics for some of those ideas. And you can even type into Canva a testimonial. Let's say one of those is a testimonial from a client, testimonial, and it'll give you a graphic for a testimonial. Then maybe some other ones are going to be like a video of you talking about a subject and you record it onto your phone and then you send it to your computer. And so then you can post it all through the Meta business suite. And just start with once or twice a week. That's only 8 to 10 posts a month. So then you can go through and you can actually schedule those ahead of time. So I'm going to create a custom posting schedule and I'm going to post on Tuesdays and Fridays. Let's say I'm just using that as an example. I'm going to post on Tuesdays and Fridays. So, this is on Thursdays. I'll go forward to the next week. I'm going to post on Tuesdays and Fridays. The other good thing about Meta is that they give you some ideas here about different holidays, different days that they have that are things. I am in the planner. If you look over here on the left-hand side, here's your home page when you get into Meta. The Meta Business Suite. This gives you some really short analytics, things like that. If you go into the planner, this is where you're going to schedule posts. I really like to do it from here because then I can see what I'm doing. So if you go here onto Tuesday, this is going to pop up here. You're going to want to think about some times, the most helpful times for your page. That's where the analytics are going to come in. And I'll show you that in a second. So let's go with 4 a.m. I'm going to post to Facebook and I'm going to post to Instagram at 4 a.m. Pacific time, which means at 7 a.m. on the East Coast. And then you're going to add your photo here or your video. I'm going to just get that down. Let's see if I have a photo that's really, I should have thought about this. Sorry. So you're going to add your photo. Your photo does have to be in a certain size. I find that the 1080 by 1080 pixels, it's a square. That's the standard size for Instagram, an Instagram post. That is just an easy one to start with because it is going to be able to cross post from Instagram to Facebook easy. So you're going to add your photo. That's where you're going to upload it from your desktop, that kind of thing. And so you're going to add your photo, but that's also could be your graphic, right? That's your graphic that you made in Canva. You're going to make it at a 1080, and that has those prefabs. So you can push Instagram post on Canva and it's going to automatically give you that square. Then in here, you're going to, write my post. And then the other thing that you can do is customize posts for Facebook and Instagram. So why this matters is because a couple of things. First of all, you can put links, so URLs in Facebook, but Instagram, they're not clickable. So, like for me, if I'm going to put reikilifestyle.com onto Facebook, I'm not going to have that on my Instagram. I would put that in my link tree instead, which is another thing for Instagram that you'd want to create. It's called a link tree. I think it's link.tree, something like that. That is where you can go and put your links into Instagram. And that's where you see like, link in bio. That's what that is. But on Facebook, you can just do it directly into the post. The other difference with the customization for this is Facebook, while it does hashtags, it doesn't do it in the same way that Instagram does. So you can do hashtags on Facebook, but hashtags on Instagram is a hugely searched thing. And hashtags, one of the other places that is a science. But you can go into Instagram and you're going to do your hashtags here, but I'm not going to spend all my time to do those in Facebook. So you can see if I push in hashtag Reiki, it gives me a lot of different hashtags that I can put in there. And these are popular hashtags, and it's why it brought it up. Also, if you search in here with Reiki, it's going to show you how many different posts. So this Reiki hashtag has 15 million posts on Instagram, 9.3 on Facebook. So, and you can see the difference amounts. So with hashtags, it's a complex thing where you want to be in a happy medium. Like I'm going to post to Reiki, but also might be nicer to be in one of the more niche hashtags that have a little less posts. So I'm not just getting lost in the noise. But also Instagram's algorithms, they take those hashtags into consideration with showing your content. So that's another thing to consider. And Instagram is, like I said, is really is big on that. So I'm going to write my post, and then what I'm going to do is I am going to schedule it, and that's going to, when did I do this? June 4th. Okay. I don't know why it's only saying schedule for Facebook. We'll see what happens there. Normally it would just say schedule. So here it's scheduled. Oh, because I didn't have a photo, so it couldn't post to Instagram. So then here you can see Tuesday, June 4th, I would normally have 2 posts here, right? So one for Facebook, one's for Instagram. Then I can go through and do it for Friday. I can do it for the following Tuesday, the following Friday. Let me just delete that before I forget. So that's a way that you can do the planner in the Meta Business Suite. Also in the planner, you can go into here. This is where you can create reels. I suggest the Reels Studio as opposed to doing it from the scheduler. So doing it how I just clicked on that, because it gives you a lot more options. Also, the algorithm is better if you do it through the studio rather than through where I was just at. So that's just the basics of posting. Now, also, you're going to want to pay attention to your analytics. This can be further down the road. First things you're going to do is just get into a consistent posting schedule. So step one, start posting. That's step one. So then you can see that you can go into your analytics. It's going to, here they give you a plan. We don't really follow that. It's going to give the results. It's going to give your audience. That can be really important, which content performs the best, things like that are also going to be really important. Having the numbers is really helpful to see, what posts do well. You can still share your authentic message. It's not all about your analytics, but you can share your authentic message in different ways. So let's say you post the exact same thing, the 5 Reiki ideals, you post it in an image and you post it in a reel, for example. And the reel significantly outperforms the post, the image. And so that's going to tell you that not just your audience sees that better, but something in the Instagram algorithm likes that better. And so it's sharing it more. And so you can still have that authentic voice. You just post it in a slightly different time or a slightly different way. You're posting it in a video and instead of an image. And so those things can help you. I'm not changing the post that I had. I'm not changing it from I'm sharing the 5 Reiki ideals. I'm just doing it slightly different. And that helps with my engagement because the algorithms they're a thing in all certain ways, and they reward different things. And as much as I can have a philosophical conversation around that and my own gripings around that aspect, it is just what it is. And I can't do much to change that other than to try to have my authentic content, my heart, sending Reiki into it, positive things into the algorithm to be seen as much as possible. And the algorithms also change. So for example, Instagram is bought by Facebook. And I know it's not the most popular platform anymore. TikTok is. I just happen to know more about Instagram and Facebook's algorithms more. And so when it was bought by Facebook, it wanted to compete with Snapchat. So with Snapchat, so what it started doing is it allowed you to post stories. Now that just seems native now with it. Allowed you to post stories, which are the ones at the top that disappear within 24 hours. And a lot of people watch stories, even prefer stories. So they started competing with Snapchat. So they started rewarding people who posted to stories. And what that does is that boosts you in the algorithm. So you're going to show up to more people. Then when TikTok came along, you started doing reels. And so they rewarded when you did reels because it's trying to compete with TikTok. So the more reels you did, the more people that saw you, the more it boosted you into their algorithms. So you got seen more. And that's actually still in the algorithm. There's things with hashtags when it comes to algorithm. Again, algorithms are science. And you can Google any of this too, just so you all know. YouTube, Google, even asking AI, things like that are going to be some of your best friends with this, because you do have to kind of pay attention. If all of a sudden, let's say you're getting 100 likes on all your posts on average, 100 likes on all your posts, and then all of a sudden it drops to 20. What happened? My posts are exactly the same. Sometimes that can be because the algorithm changed, or let's say it goes up. Now it's at 500 every post. You're doing something that the algorithm rewards. So it may not have anything to do with your content. It may be that the algorithm changed. And that's true for every single platform. YouTube did it when they came out with shorts. They rewarded shorts because they're competing with TikTok. And then TikTok did it with TikTok Shop. So when TikTok Shop started, you got rewarded in your algorithm because they're trying to compete with Amazon. So the algorithms change. They're a science. All of this stuff you can research, you can ask, on YouTube, people will go through it for you. There's lots and lots of information around it. And so, but it's just this awareness that this is a part of it. And then Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and YouTube, all of their ads, all of their sponsored content is a whole nother science too, that like I understand it, but barely. And that is actually a place that normally we will try to kind of hire somebody for, because those are science too. But you can do the basics with them. And it does also help boost engagement on your posts. Also can have you find new followers too. The biggest thing with all of it is just know to stay authentic to you. Your voice matters. Colleen's going to go through a journey of your authentic voice and how you can communicate that on social media, and more with this striving for authenticity, finding it through social media with each other. It's not just important, but it's being sought after, because we do want that connection with each other through it as much as possible. I think that's my whole spiel.
And I think the biggest takeaway from it is just start with one.
Yeah.
The one you like. So
I know it's all a lot.
It's a lot. Mm-hmm. There were a couple of questions, Robyn.
Oh.
Is Meta free to use?
Yes. Yeah. The only time that you are charged is if you do ads. Ads charge, everything else is free. And same with
does it show the time when people are reading the posts on Facebook?
Yes. Yep. You'll see your engagement days and times of the days. So, a lot of times the engagement drops off on Saturday and Sundays. But then, yeah, you'll have a general time of when your audience is mostly online. And you do want to pay attention to where they are in the world, because our Facebook is set at Pacific time. Let's say, though, our top engagement is from the East Coast, like which it's not, it's Portland. So we see the top engagement at 6 a.m., but really that's 9 a.m. on the East Coast. And so sometimes there's a balance between that. But yeah, it shows that.
And then does Canva cost to use in this way?
They have a free platform. Canva has a free version, but the paid version is really, really expansive. So it just depends on what's in your budget. If you're able to pay for it, it's one of the places that I recommend. There's a lot of places that I say you can just start. If you can't afford it, I would recommend the pro version of Canva. It's business expense, first of all, so you can write it off on your taxes, but it just has so many more options. Photos and videos, especially, because you get to take from the stock photo and video library on there, and that's a really, really big asset.
Okay, thank you. And Kaz, you had a question?
What is an algorithm?
Well, so the algorithms are the code, essentially, and you're going to have somebody that is going to be able to define this better than me, but it's basically the rules, the processes that the platform takes into consideration in what it's going to show you and not show you. So algorithms were more known like before as math, computer, that it's a system of processes, switches on and off, for that. When it comes to social media, it is in the back end like the same idea, but it is the rules that they write in there to help the platform run and to know what it's going to show people and not show people. Does that make sense? You know what I would do in that case, Kaz? I'm like, go ahead, Danny.
I was gonna add to, like, for me, I'm more creative in the morning. So when I wake up, I actually, even when I'm still in bed, I invite Reiki to guide me. Like what's a good message today? You know, like what's going on?
Mm.
And it could be so simple. I mean, I can spend like an hour on a post and it gets nothing. And I can spend 40 seconds on a post and it gets so much attention. And so it's just it's different. So it could be just like a simple like reminder, right? It's like for today, like Robyn was saying, is like just for today, do this. And but yeah, so I think it's really interesting. So for people like that might be more creative in the afternoon or morning or whenever they are, um, and I just invite Reiki, and it's so interesting. So, and then Colleen and I kind of bond a lot. Like I'll have a message, and she's like, "I was just thinking of that." So it's really fun to do that too. Uh, yeah, inviting Reiki. Like, what's the word? Like, what word is gratitude? Simplify, unify. Like I'll think of like, what word can I just talk about? And it could be a tiny 3-word sentence. That's it.
Great.
Awesome.
Thank you.
It's
All
such
right.
a big subject, you guys, and that's why, we do encourage you to go down the rabbit holes of YouTube, and it is time consuming, as Patricia said. It's always a big piece of it, and finding the balance with it and finding your message. So what we want to do right now is actually go into a Reiki journey meditation that can help you discover your authentic message for social media, or just in general, just in what you're speaking of. To me, that's so much a part of it, and going into the listening aspect. So there will be an opportunity. There are going to be some questions in this journey that if you want to do any automatic writing, you can do some automatic writing, or you can just listen for your own answers. The other thing that can happen when we do a journey like this is maybe the answers come to you later through insight, and it may come in a roundabout way. So just stay open to ideas and insight, inspiration. Also, curiosity is a big one too. That helps with all of it. And it's such a big subject. And for me, I had to learn how to like it. I started doing all of this work way before social media even existed, and then adding it in. And one thing that really helped me settle into it was the recognition of the possibility of contributing to wellness through global communication. And so once that settled in, that is what I care about in it, is it's always about how do I contribute to wellness in my life and other people's lives, and how does that make a difference? Because social media really is the infancy. We are in the infancy of global communication. So how do I contribute to wellness in this space? And for me, once I landed on that awareness, that was, when we have team meetings, we all talk about that, what that is, what that means. And the other place that I should say we, not just I, but we really landed on is that it's a safe place for people to land on our page anytime, that it is going to be something that is contributing to wellness. And so that was very helpful to kind of navigate through what's our messaging. So